Hi, Trevor here, reflecting on life through music. Welcome and thank you for stopping by. It's fantastic you are here. Well, I trust you enjoyed my last video on 80s Aussie band Dear Enemy, and through their song Computer One and also Good Life, we looked at where our priorities in this pursuit of work-life balance needs to be. So I trust you found that one an encouragement. Well, we're going on to a guy today that was born in 1943 in Chicago, and although he was doing some acting on stage, it wasn't until 1975 that he got a big, massive break on television. In fact, this big, massive break was one of the biggest TV shows of the 1970s. It was absolutely massive, and he and his mate were stars, that is for sure. Who are we talking about? David Soul. Yes, now David Soul, together with Paul Michael Glaser, over 92 episodes, starred in Starsky and Hutch, the hard-hitting cop duo with the iconic orange car, and they just were really the epitome of a cop duo, and certainly many cop duos have come after these guys. I think of Lethal Weapon as an example. It really did set the tone for the tough guy cop image, that is for sure. David Soul was the more measured guy, or Hutch as he was in the show, and Starsky, Paul, was a little bit more on the wild side, and together they were just perfectly partnered, that is for sure. So 92 episodes over from 1975 to 1979, but little did the world realise that David Soul also could sing quite well. In fact, he had been singing before Starsky and Hutch, and when that came to an end, he started his career again. And certainly between 1976 and 1997, there were 5 studio albums and quite a few compilation albums for the 5 studio albums and 17 singles. Now, when you think of David Soul, you think about one particular song, but I'll get onto that one in a minute. So a little bit more about his acting. Between 1971 and 2013, he was in 14 movies, and there were many TV series. I can see the single episode spot on the iconic Star Trek, plus many others over that length of time. So relatively well respected in the industry. But as I've already shared, he got his break well and truly in 1975 with Starsky and Hutch, one of the biggest cop shows of the 1970s. Now, what song do we think of when we think of David Soul? When I thought of David Soul, I thought of this big tough guy. And then out in 1977, out came the album Playing to an Audience of One. And what we saw was very quietly spoken but quite compelling voice. Very much in the country, soft rock, soft pop genre. Quite different to the Starsky and Hutch image, but just goes to show how versatile you can be when you've got the acting and the music thing happening at the same time. Now, when you think of Starsky, or not Starsky and Hutch, when you think of David Soul, well, when you think of David Soul, you think of Starsky and Hutch. But another thing that you think of when you think of David Soul is the song Don't Give Up on Us. In fact, Don't Give Up on Us, Baby. This song was absolutely massive for David Soul. #1 in Australia, #1 in the UK singles chart, #1 in the Billboard 100, and #1 in the US contemporary chart. It's estimated it sold 1.6 million copies of that single in the UK, and again coming off the album Playing to an Audience of One. Such a great album title, that one, and pretty much sums the songs of this album up to a T. So Don't Give Up on Us. It follows the story of a guy who is looking back on his relationship. It may not be going so well. He's thinking, oh man, don't give up on us, baby. Let's give it one more try. Let's keep going, because you know what? I'm way too invested in this relationship to give up on it. In fact, if things do stop, I don't know what I'm going to do. It's quite desperate, the lyrics in this song, quite urging but quite sincere. At the same time, I'm thinking he thinks a lot of his girl and he wants to keep going with it. The trick we find with relationships, sometimes things get to such an extent we think, oh my goodness, how can I keep going? But something just compels us just to stay. Another song I think about at the moment is U2's With or Without You. You know, the concept of I can't live with, but I can't live without you. I'm kind of doing both at the same time a little bit. I think maybe if we are emotionally invested in our relationships and we think, oh man, I just don't want to be here anymore, and you can't even imagine what life's going to be like without that person, you think it's going to be all great, then you find yourself in that moment thinking, oh yeah, this isn't quite what I thought. I'm not feeling free. I'm not feeling like life's moved on. I'm still stuck back there. In fact, I remember doing the Daryl Hall and John Oates video on Kiss on My List, and talked about the fact that my friends wanted me to move on, but your kiss is still on my list. This is very much where we're headed today. We think we're going to get a fresh start, but the fresh start is elusive. So if there is even just a little bit of investment in your relationship, you're still emotionally invested there, it might be easier to say, don't give up on us. And by the way, it's not don't give up on me. It's don't give up on us. That really implies that both people need to decide whether they're going to keep going, and if they are, they need to put everything into it to try and get things moving again. Otherwise, it goes into Kiss on My List, and we're remembering those moments and wishing they were back. We don't always know when we're in the moment and things aren't going so well what the other side's going to look like. We think the grass is always greener on the other side, but you know, sometimes it's not. And when life gets hard and relationships get tricky, maybe one of the better things we can do, if we are a bit invested still, is to try and work out how we can move forward. Sometimes the door gets slammed shut and we don't get a chance to think about what we're doing when we slam that door. What we've got to do is gently close it, perhaps keep it ajar a little bit, let the light shine through, and work out how we can open it further. Because if we do choose to do that, it's a choice we've made, right? It's a choice we've made. And it's a choice I think, okay, I'm going to choose to do this thing. I'm going to choose to give love. And by the way, love is patient and kind and constant and consistent. It's relationships that tend to go all over the place. I'm going to give love another try. Perhaps I need to work out the things I need to learn so that I can be better equipped to do it better with the person who I'm just emotionally invested in. So if you're in a situation right now where you're just about to shut the door, think about it first and think, now, it may not work out how I'm hoping. Think about all the people that are involved in your life that kind of know you as a couple. What's the effect going to be on them? Not that we do things for other people, mind you, but it all kind of has a bit of effect. You know, our families, children, if there's children, the whole thing. So I trust if you're in this situation right now where you may have slammed the door, can the encouragement be perhaps that you just open it again and see how you go? So I trust that will be an encouragement for you today. Well, let's get on to the clips. Now, we are talking, guys, I'm just letting you warning you here, this is the 1970s, right? But, you know, one thing about the 1970s, extremely, original with the music. People weren't scared to be themselves. And, you know, and it was just such an easier time for some reason than it is now. People just did what they did and they weren't concerned so much about image. A little bit, but not a lot. So 1970s, as you look at these clips today, just remember 1970s. And when you do click on these clips, just crank it up a little bit because the sound is a little bit on the quiet side. So there we go. So the clips. Of course, we've got to have Don't Give Up on Us, and you might as well put Baby in there. Again, off the Playing to an Audience of One. In fact, both of the clips are off this particular album. This is a live version, so it's really good to see that, you know, this song was absolutely massive for David Soul. Let's not forget that. It was huge. Australia, England, US, massive. And so people would go along to hear him sing this song. And you can see at the beginning with his incredible shirt he's got on and the flowers and the gifts being bestowed on him by fans, just how well he was regarded. And there's something also to be said about the few compilation albums that have come out. People have always had a bit of an interest over David Soul, both as Hutch and Starsky and Hutch, and also in singing and acting. So that's the a live version of Don't Give Up on Us. And while we're on that album, let's go to Silver Lady. This is the official clip, and yes, guys, typical 1970s here. We've got the forlorn looks, we've got the solitary walk along the sidewalk, we've got the smouldering looks, we've got the motorbike ride with the helmet off, we've got all of the stuff going here. Typical 1970s, and particularly I suppose reflective of a guy that is really going through stuff here. He's reflective, he's a bit mournful, a bit everything. And so very melodramatic clip, but again, a typical 1970s. And David Soul, let's face it, he was a good looking bloke, and you know, girls kind of liked him a bit. And so they've really capitalised on that fact in the clip Silver Laddie. That's another song you think of when you think of a Silver Laddie. Now, I thought we better look a little bit at Starsky and Hutch as well. Probably won't come back to these guys unless there's a request. So I thought I'd go for the intro and outro of Starsky and Hutch. Here you'll see them being the tough cops, the iconic orange car that's speeding through the streets of whatever city it was in, I can't remember, and just the whole tough cop image. So I thought I'd put from the original show the intro and outro to Starsky and Hutch. And then who would have thought in 2004 out would come a Starsky and Hutch remake? And it wasn't done in the normal tough guy image. It was a bit more of a light-hearted, humorous look at Starsky and Hutch. Critics were divided about how good this movie was, but I myself think it was good to go back. And yes, in this particular movie, at the end, and some people say this is the best part of the whole movie, we see Mark, Paul and David reprising their roles in a cameo in the new movie. And right at the end, after the new Starsky and new Hutch have actually solved the big massive crime, they meet their former selves, and what is there but the iconic orange car. Such a cool part of the movie. Really cool part of the movie, and in the typical Starsky fashion, both the new Starsky and the old Starsky, who are a bit on the wild side. The old Starsky saying, now, you might want to drop the clutch and you might want to do that, but look after her, right? And the new Starsky says, yeah, whatever. And they sail off into the sunset, jumping down a hill and getting airborne, all of that sort of stuff. So I thought I'd put both the original Starsky and Hutch and the cameos from the later movie there for you to have a look at as well. So all the links to all of those 4 clips are in the description below for you to have a look back. A bit of a reminisce for some of us that were around in the 1970s and this amazing song that David Soul had. And I've also, by the way, included my last video from Dear Enemy, so if you want to recap on that one, feel free. Well, if you've come back for another video, fantastic. And or this is your first time to Life Reflections Through Music, thank you very much for coming back. And as always, thank you everybody for hanging around to the end. It's great to get this sort of engagement. Well, that's it for today. Next time, we're going to go on to Deacon Blue and the incredible song. In fact, one of my favourite songs, Dignity. So until then, I'll catch you around.